And we are live. So, how are you doing this week, Joe?
Doing quite well, quite well. How about you? Must be nice and warm where you're at.
It has actually been cold, and I've got a cold myself. I went out to a Mardi Gras ball last night, and I have come home with a cold. So,
Not good, not good. We were in the 20 below range there for about a week. Every morning we were waking up with a 20, 25 below, and actually it was about a week and a half, closer to 2 weeks. So it's been pretty bitter ass cold here. But
yeah,
we got up to 40 today, so things are turning around. Hopefully, we made it through the worst of winter.
sounds
To
like um, the coldest it got here, I think last week was like 21 overnight. But in the days, it's getting up to the 40s and 50s.
well, they made them take all the permanent ice houses off the lake, fish houses off the lake, and that's like the first sign of spring up here is when the migration of the fish houses. Do you
I
even
don't know
understand?
if I've ever seen a solid frozen lake down here.
Oh,
And it's,
really?
it doesn't stay cold long enough.
We have about 30, 34, 36 inches of ice right now. And we probably had, oh, I'd say eight, 900 houses out on the lake this
Oh,
year.
wow.
Yeah. So it's, and those, everybody has to have the new ones, and they're not cheap. I mean, they're as much as the boat behind me there, but
Oh, wow.
the boat gets to get used in a lot nicer temperatures. So, anyways, to writing, have you been writing some wonderful things?
Well, yes and no. I rewrote my character and got it kind of polished, and I got a little start of an intro and a chapter. But I've been thinking about it a lot more. I've got a lot of thoughts on where to take the story. It's just finding the time. It's when you have a busy work life and then you have stuff going on in your personal life or health issues, it's just kind of hard to find the time. So I was going to ask you about finding the time. How do you do it?
Um, Stay off of social media. Don't watch TV. Try to stay closer to writing all the time. That's how I do it. I mean, lately I don't have a novel going right now other than what we have going, and you and I have both just kind of put out the rough of a first chapter. So I want to read what you have before I go on. So I'll spend more time on it this next week. Except I only have this story being written in my shop, so it'll only happen when I come out to my shop to write. Usually I'll have two or three stories going, and they'll be inside. But then again, I don't watch any TV. Um, I think that the TV writing and the movie writing has gotten so bad that I would rather, I can make up crap and have more fun at it than watching crap, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So,
I tend
but
to agree on some levels,
play
but I do my movies.
an author, and I think it might have been Darren Waremouth, if you know who he is. Um, Him and I were friends way back when I first started, and he is actually still a member of Phalanx Press. Um, but he made the comment of life gets in the way, and I've used that phrase for so many things. But when it comes to writing, unless we're using it as a profession, we have to treat it as a hobby. Therefore, take care of your life first. Pay your bills. You're not going to have peace of mind to write if you're stressing out about money and stressing out about housing. Because I know right now you're looking for a house. You just migrated to another part of the state, and I mean,
Well, it definitely makes it harder. I
I don't
you know,
know. Can you,
take the time to find a place is hard.
when your mind is in turmoil, how good are you at escaping that and focusing on a storyline?
You can't, and that's one of the things that my job is very demanding, and it's a lot of social like demands.
Right,
And I had thought that I would have the weekends to write, and I'm
right.
finding out like no, that's not necessarily true.
Not when
So
you don't have a house yet.
yeah,
You're out house hunting.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's difficult,
Yeah.
and the house hunting is difficult because I don't know the area that well, and I've been trying to find like a medium place kind of close to Gulfport and Biloxi, but not in the city. And I don't know that that's what happened. The price of insurance, homeowners insurance, flood insurance, and then property taxes in the most desirable areas are a little bit out of my range. I don't really feel comfortable committing to that
Sure.
off. So I'm just trying to find a place that,
Find a good neighborhood in the city that
yeah, yeah. Because
know,
right
'cause-
now I'm closer. Well, I'm about 50 minutes outside of New Orleans,
right.
and I am about 30 minutes to Gulfport and about 40 minutes to Biloxi. So anything's a big drive, you know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it's good. I don't have to go through any of that, and I still have hard times,
yeah,
finding time. I mean, I've got my shop, and I love to work on different projects here and there, and so I spend a lot of time doing that. And I'm just, I'm into our story right now, but otherwise, I'm just not inspired by anything uh, at the moment. I just finished a novel, published that in September. I've written like two short stories since then, but I'll never do anything with them. They're not short stories. They're kind of just really short novels, 50,000
yeah,
words,
yeah.
that type of deal. But I'm exploring genres right now, and I just don't know what genre I want to attack. I've done the romance, I've done the science fiction, I've done the fantasy, I've done the horror and the zombie. Um, so we'll see. Hopefully I'll come up with something now. What you were doing is true to life. Uh, yeah. Also, so I'm just not inspired at anything right now. I'm hoping that something will just strike me, and it will be the next great American novel. But I've been kind of waiting for that for 64 years. So
So
what it is.
what is your favorite genre to write?
What is my favorite?
Yeah,
Fantasy, high fantasy. Elves, dwarves, gnomes. That's my favorite to read and my favorite to write. Tolkien esque type,
yeah,
sort of Shannara type. Those are my. That's what I grew up on. That's what I love the most. Elric of Melniboné. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. That's from the 60s, British writer Michael Moorcock. Go ahead. Go ahead. Giggle about the name. I know some of you Balance fans are giggling about that. Moorcock. That's right. That's how it's spelled, too. You know, just, people, it's terrible. It's terrible. But, anyways, yeah. How about you? What's your favorite?
I like modern fantasy, like set in a modern time, but the fantasy world. That's I guess
Okay, so dystopian then?
like urban fantasy. I think
Okay.
it's call it. Love it. I love the elves. I love high magic. I love writing about that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this book that we're writing, the inspiration for it to me is more real world. It's more mainstream, I think.
Well, I'm
So
not opposed to magic being in it though.
yeah, that's
Unless you
interesting.
want it to be mainstream, then we'll keep it mainstream. That's
Let's
I'm
just
open.
yeah, I'm open to it. Um, I hadn't thought about it.
I
So
hadn't really either. I was going to kind of wait and see how it progresses, but there's a lot of voodoo juju down there in New Orleans and such
yeah,
that could be a lot of fun.
yeah, definitely. Actually, one of the girls that I know went to, I guess it was one of their Mardi Gras things, and the prize that they got as a participatory thing was voodoo dolls. The lady had handmade voodoo dolls for each of the girls that participated. And I thought, one of them was saying how terrible it was. And I thought, I'd be real nice to that lady that made them.
I think it's
Real
great.
nice to her.
Voodoo dolls. As long as they're not the actual shrunken head type. I mean, that's kind of a little odd.
Well, that's
Which
a
I
good,
guess is something they actually used to do somewhere somehow.
yeah.
It's probably Wisconsin. I don't know though.
Well, so what
Maybe
all have you been working on? Tell me about what you've worked on since we last talked.
Jokes are really a waste of time if you're not going to laugh at them, Hadley. So just
I'm sorry, I'm a little sick. So I don't know if I'm coughing because we were at the casino. They had the ball at the casino, so I'm not used to being around the smoke.
oh
Or if it's getting that cold that I had back at Christmas again.
yeah, that's. I haven't been sick in a long time, and I think it's because I've stopped coming into contact with those. What are they? They're germy things, and they walk around. Sometimes they drive people.
Well, I'm having to people a lot more with my job, and I went to two casinos last week. One for a walkthrough for space, and the other for that ball. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm done peopling. But I was a lot healthier when I didn't people. I will say there's something to that.
Are all the casinos down there run by the tribes? The
No, no, no. Um, the Beau Rivage is like the sister casino to the Bellagio in Vegas. So
yeah.
that's like a big one down here. But most of them are they like MGM Hard Rocks down here. It's a lot of
Oh,
um,
big money.
yeah,
Yeah, because all gambling except for lottery tickets is all held by uh, the tribes. Whether it's I can't even remember the Ojibwa or Cherokee or Chippewa. They all got their own casinos down here. The Sioux are pretty.
that's cool. There's some Indian casinos here. We've got some in Philadelphia, Mississippi, which is where the Choctaw are from,
Yeah.
and that's but the rest I think are just casinos like Harrah's and places like that.
Oh, really? So it's kind of like Vegas.
Yeah, it is. It's like and actually, I mean, it is very much like Vegas, but not as it's a different vibe.
Hearing that makes me kind of glad that ours are just to the tribes because we don't have the high big dollar casinos coming in out here. I mean, we have enough of an addiction problem to it in the state as it is, and you put that kind of flash and glitter to it, it could be, you know, I don't know. Do you go to casinos quite a bit? Do you play them?
No, I'm not. I don't have enough money to feel comfortable giving 2 cents to anybody but my dogs. So my dogs are my casino.
That's a gamble.
Yep.
How many do you have now?
I am down to two. I
How many?
lost Tanner before I moved. I had to have her put down before we moved.
Yeah,
Um, it's just Wilson and Boudreaux. So
awesome.
they're sitting back there on the sofa right now being good boys.
So I'm not seeing any questions coming in. So everybody must know everything they need to know about writing.
Yeah, we got a couple of people in the chat. Alan Gamboa just went into the Wally world. He loves us. And Craig is making comments. Craig Boland is making
Oh, they must be commenting on YouTube or what?
um, Facebook and YouTube. So
Oh, good. I don't see
Craig's
it
just
here.
making jokes.
I saw that.
And Alan had to run in. So that's just it. We've got a couple of people watching.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Um,
that's a YouTube symbol, and I'm on Facebook.
yeah. And I am trying to make our Facebook page where it's got some resources and stuff for people that might want to check stuff out. Um, and I guess just try and keep the questions coming and get more people involved. And I need to do a more.
And our show will become more exciting as we get into the novel more. I mean, we're still on rough ground here, though. But you're right. Making yourself right and making the time to write is a very difficult thing. Um, and a lot of times you can't do it because when you're forcing yourself, that ruins the inspiration. Like for me, writing is a very delicate. I was going to say balance, but then somebody put in there a question balance. So it sounds like I'm copying, but I was going to say that first, Larry. So, anyways, um, so like for me, I only read reviews on my novels like once every 6, 7 months, and that's just to see if there's any new ones because it disrupts the flow when I'm writing.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I don't get stressed out about. I refuse to acknowledge sales or anything like that because for me, it's never been about sales. It's never been about being liked. It's been about writing, and that's all I want to do is write. And if you don't like it, I don't care. I do. I like what I write, and I enjoy writing. I think that it keeps my mind active, and yeah. So
Let me ask you this. I know that you published on Amazon with some. I know you've been traditionally published, but this latest book, didn't you independently publish it?
yeah, I did it independently.
Did you
You know,
find
I
that was better or worse?
you can't judge sales by what I do. I don't do any promotion. I don't even post it on Facebook. I just publish them and put them out there, and pray that the gods of sales will find it because so better or worse. I mean, I have a 9 book series with Devil Dog Press. They agreed to become the publisher for them, and I thought that was going to be a good thing. But for some reason they haven't been able to market them. Everybody who's read them says they love them. I mean, you love Splinter. That was the first book of the series. And
I read your Zombie Rush series, which
that's
is
part of that same
yeah,
series.
when I first got on Audible
Yeah.
and loved it, but I didn't know who you were. And it wasn't until later I found out, I think when I read Splinter, that it was even connected. And
Yeah.
I've seen this often. You're one of the most underrated authors out there, and more people need to pick up your books. But I think that promoting books is so hard now. I mean, if you know what you're doing, it's easy, but a lot of these books that I've bought because I've seen on public, are promoted stuff. So, it used to be that you could go get traditionally published and they marketed you to the masses, and now that's just not it's just not how the world works.
Yeah, and I could get bitter about that, the fact that I have so many books out there and nobody reads them, but I haven't put the time in that others have. Like Franklin Horton, um, he was spending $30,000 on magazine ads, and gun magazines, and so he was putting the time in, and he had a promotional plan, which is something I don't have. W.J. Lundy, the same thing. Lundy knows how to promote. Uh, and then there's other people like N.C. Reed. I don't know if you've ever read it. He has a Fire from the Sky series, excellent author. Uh, his first book was oh shit, it's about the guy on the spectrum in the apocalypse. Odd Billy Todd. Odd Billy Todd was his first book, and he happened into a guy who was a promoter of, I think he was just a salesman of other things. But the guy said, yeah, this is a new industry. I'll give it a try. So he took it on, and he was a professional salesman, and he just brought it
Wow.
skyrocket, you know. So these are the people that have either hired the people to market for them or had some knowledge and were willing to invest the money, you know. And I haven't been willing to do that. So I really can't be bitter or
Yeah.
angry. I just have to accept it as a reality. You know, I'll try doing more once I'm retired and I have more time. But this comes back to the time factor of writing. You know, I've always worked between 40 and 70 hours a week. When I was driving truck, it was 60, 70 hours a week easily. And you can't write many books when you're driving truck.
What do you
Top,
think about people who are using voice recorders to write their books?
I've never tried that. But anyways, and then you've got a house to take care of, you've got bills to take care of, you got home mechanical equipment going down, maintenance projects that need to get done. So having books that don't make you any money have to be treated as a hobby because your life won't allow it to be any other way.
Yeah.
So try to make the time to write and try to realize that that time you're making to write is for you. It's for your mental health. It's for uh, just the natural progression of life, I guess. But don't get down on yourself. I mean, life gets in the way. To quote that saying again, we got to take care of life first. We can't fall into our hobbies when they're not providing for us as much as we'd love to. We can't do it.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at. Finding the balance has been really hard because it's like you try to find that work life balance, but the right the right balance is definitely a new one, to kind of factor in. And when I wrote my first two books, I wrote them when my mom was sick and I was taking care of her full time, so I wasn't working. And it was during 2020 when we had the shutdowns. So I had the time. I would take care of her. She would go to bed about 7 and she would get up at 9. So I would write from, you know, pretty much 10 p.m. till like 2. And then, take care of her during the day. And then those were my hours for writing. And now that's when I do my best writing, but it's not feasible for me to stay up that late to write. So,
Yeah, it's just not. I mean, you got to get to bed so you can go to work. I mean,
yeah.
I've been having problems sleeping lately, and it shows. I mean, not being rested and not taking care of your life, uh, it interrupts your creativity.
Definitely.
So don't get down on yourself and just make time when you can. And those times when we've made time, we will have a better show for you. And times that we haven't been able to make time, we're just going to make up bullshit and talk
Yeah.
anyways.
And I think that's the authenticity of what we're doing here is, I mean, we're two writers who are
Right.
facing the same thing other writers do.
Yeah.
And I wish they could find their way to us so they could, we can build a community of people who support each other during that. But I will say this, Joe, you did hit one thing on the head, which is, you know, mentally, I am better when I am writing. Mentally, that escape makes me function better on a lot of levels. The creativity, having to go and building something.
It is a release of sorts. And it's only people who have the desire to write get that release. Um, but it's important to us. I mean, I don't have anything to write right now, and I'm kind of annoyed by that. I'm actually, so if I don't come up with something soon, I might sit down and do a perspective rendering or something just for fun. You know, just simply because you've got to keep those creative juices flowing, or you're not being your true self. Makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, anyways, been colder than hell here. It's warming up. Looking forward to it. Um, we're going to do this in 3 weeks again.
Let's I need to be moving, so let me tell you when I find out what's going on there because I hopefully will be moving out of this place at the end of next month. So
Okay.
I can,
Yeah, if they raise the rent $1,000, you can.
yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But I get it. It's Verbo and they're looking to get their summer crowd started. So,
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
so I get it.
Okay.
But I mean, I can stay if I can pay the extra 1,000, but I just don't feel like paying it. But
It's a lot of money.
yeah, it is. But so next time, hopefully, we'll have a little bit more going on, and
Next time I'll have something to read for you on chapter 2. I'm going to
um,
try to read the beginning of my portion, the beginning of each chapter as we progress on, so people could kind of get an idea of where the story's going. Like last time, I read the beginning of the first chapter of my character, and I'll do the same for chapter 2.
yeah. And if you're watching and you're not part of the Facebook group, be sure to join because there's a lot of stuff that I'm sharing there. And at some point, I am going to put my character backstory and all up there so y'all can see how I did that. So,
Yeah, I gotta check my emails and find out my character's name. I forgot.
Calvin Hobbs.
Kevin Hobbs. That's right. That's right. That was fun.
I know, I love it. All right. Well, that's 30 minutes, and we'll be talking in a month. So
All right. Sounds good. Good luck to you with everything.
thanks, and I'll talk to you soon. Hopefully, I'll have another chapter before long.
All right. Sounds good.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Goodbye.